I'm Lise, and today we're going to talk about die Uhrzeit, so the time and telling time in German. So when you want to ask what time is it is, then you can ask in two different ways. You can say wie viel Uhr ist es, or you can say wie spät ist es. Wie spät literally translates to how late is it. Wie viel Uhr is it, like how much o'clock is it, literally. So it's just two ways of asking what time is it. And then here's some examples. Let's look at the ones on the left. 9 o'clock, es ist 9 Uhr. So it is 9, and the Uhr is kind of like o'clock in English. 9 Uhr, 9:15 is es ist Viertel nach 9. So Viertel means quarter, and nach means past. So it's quarter past 9. 9:30, es ist halb 10. So this is where it is different from English, because in English you say 9:30, right? And in German what we mean is half an hour until it is 10. So es ist halb 10. And then 9:45, es ist Viertel vor 10. So again, Viertel is the quarter, and 4 is before, so it's a quarter until 10, or a quarter before 10. Okay, and let's look at the examples on the right. 9:05, es ist 5 nach 9. So 5 past 9, 5 minutes after 9. 9:20, es ist 20 nach 9. So same thing, 20 minutes after 9. And then, but if you are 20 minutes before, you wouldn't say 40 minutes after 9. You would say 20 until 10. Es ist 20 vor 10. And 9:50, es ist 10 vor 10. So usually the 9:40, that's where we start to count, to use the 10 instead of 9. So es ist 20 vor 10, es ist 10 vor 10, oder es ist 5 vor 10 would be 9:55. Okay, and this is the conversational way of telling time in German. So if you ask someone on the street, or you're sitting in a class, you would answer like this: Viertel nach, halb, Viertel vor, 5 nach. But then of course there's also a time, like you have in English too. You want to say something like 9:08 or something like this. So you can do that too, and that's in German we use that for in situations like at the airport, when you say when the plane is departing, or in the train station, with more official dates. So 10:15, there's two ways to say it, right? One that we just talked about would be Viertel nach 10, when you, in a more informal situation, when you talk conversationally about time, and then 10:15, so like 10 o'clock 15. So like in English you would say 10:15. That is something you would hear like at the airport, for example. Okay, and then 11:28, 11:28. Then there is 17:35, which is 5:35 p.m. So it's the 24-hour system. 17:35, and then there is 20:30, which is 8:30 p.m. 20:30. And note that you cannot combine those two different ways of telling time. So you cannot say halb 21, for example. You could not say that. You would have to say 8:30. That is fine. Or you can say 20:30. So you have to do one way or the other. Okay. And this was how you tell the time. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the month and the days of the week. So I'm going to read the month to you. They are very similar to English. Januar, Februar, März, April, Mai, Juni, Juli, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, those are the months. These are the Wochentage, the days of the week. Montag, Dienstag, Mittwoch, Donnerstag, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag. And then Samstag and Sonntag are das Wochenende, so the weekend. And when you use those different time phrases like the o'clock, that's the actual time, or a month, or a day of the week in a sentence, you usually need a preposition, or you often need a preposition. Like you want to say something like in January, or at 9 o'clock, or on Monday. Then you would need a preposition. So in German we use the preposition im when we talk about month, and seasons, Monat und Jahreszeit. For example, im Januar oder im Sommer. So im Januar is a Monat, und Sommer is a Jahreszeit. Okay. And then am we use for days of the week, like am Montag, and also when we say something like on December 4th, or on January 30th, or something like this. So am 4. Dezember. And then we use for the exact time, so 10 o'clock, for example, 10 Uhr, oder 11:15, at quarter past 11. Okay, and so this is how you tell the time. And then we have talked about how to tell the time, or how to say what day it is, or what season it is, and things like that. But what if you want to talk about time in the future, but you haven't learned the future tense yet? You can actually do that with present tense in German. So let's look at some examples. Heute Abend 8 Uhr gehe ich ins Kino. So that means tonight at 8 o'clock I'm going to the movies. So you could say this, let's say it's afternoon, and you say tonight at 8 o'clock I'm going to the movies. So that's actually, if it's afternoon, then that's actually in the future, right? So, but we're using gehe is actually present tense. So we're using present tense instead of future, just like you can do in English. Tonight I'm going to the movies. For a second example, let's say it is spring, and you're talking about the summer. So im Sommer fliegen wir nach Deutschland. So in the summer we'll go to Germany. And again, fliegen is not a future form, it's present, but we are talking about the future. And then let's say it is Friday, and you're asking someone what you're doing on Saturday. So was machst du am Samstag? What do you do, or what are you doing, or what are you going to do on Saturday? Again, that is machst is a present tense, but we're talking about the future. Okay, and that was how you can use the present tense with a future meaning.